In this video, we're going to explore the carbon cycle. This lesson has been adapted from Let's Talk Science's Clothing for Climate project, and the images that you find within, many of them were taken from that resource. So the carbon cycle, this is from sciencefacts.net. So that's how carbon moves from place to place. So we start with carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Producers will convert that. So things that act as carbon sinks are producers. So plants will perform photosynthesis and then will pass that carbon to consumers. It'll end up in the soil when things die and there's decomposition. Some things could end up becoming fossil fuels. We can then burn the fossil fuels. That will put the carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. Plants can perform respiration, and so can animals, and then even decomposition will do respiration. All of that returns carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. So there's a few things that take carbon out from the atmosphere. So fossil fuels we think of as being carbon sources, because when we burn them, they release carbon dioxide into the air, which is true. But when they're in the ground as fossil fuels, they're actually carbon sinks. So they're trapping the carbon underground where it's being left out of the atmosphere. Oceans and lakes also store carbon as carbonic acid. And again, as the earth warms and more carbon dioxide is being produced because of the greenhouse effect, oceans and lakes are getting more carbon dioxide in their systems, and that actually will lead to ocean acidification, which we looked at when we did the coral reef gizmo. And then plants and algae turn carbon dioxide into food and other materials through photosynthesis, the fibers that we use, structural things that we might need the plants for. But they also, as a byproduct, make oxygen, which is essential for all living things for surviving on Earth. The things that let out carbon, so respiration, all living things breathe out carbon dioxide, and during the process of cellular respiration, they produce carbon dioxide as a waste product. When we burn things, so burning, wood, driving our car, factories, all of these produce carbon dioxide, so that's combustion. Methane is a carbon compound. It's carbon bonded to 4 hydrogens. So landfills produce methane, and then cows also do too. Volcanoes release carbon dioxide too, and when they erupt. So we've kind of briefly touched on this already. Carbon sources are things that release carbon dioxide or other greenhouse gases. So burning fossil fuels, breathing, landfill and cows, erupting volcanoes and ice caps, they all release carbon. The ice caps release carbon that's trapped within them as they melt. So the extra carbon dioxide is warming up our atmosphere, which is causing the polar ice caps to melt, which then release even more carbon. So you can see the problem here. And a carbon sink are things that remove carbon from the atmosphere. So plants, algae, perform photosynthesis. Fossil fuels, before we burn them, are carbon sinks. And then oceans are, they trap carbon in gas bubbles.